So, I'm finally giving the long-awaited by exactly one person review on TikTok streaming. Today is going to be a little bit different than the one before because due to the nature of it, it's going to need to have 3 scores based off of 3 different types of people that might be using it. Let's start off right off the bat for the way that this normally works. Firstly, this is going to be based off my own experience. I am going to shelf my bias against it in regards to some of the changes that were made post the servers moving to the US in the US, but it is still going to be based off of my experience while I was streaming on it. Secondly, this is based off of how this is for new people going in, because those are the most likely people that are going to be kind of searching for these kinds of videos on if it's worth it to start on a certain site. Which is why this is getting 3 scores, because the first score is going to be for the people that are just starting. 0. It is impossible to actually start on TikTok from 0. You have to have a certain level of following. It varies a little bit. On paper, it says 500. In reality, you can actually get it a little earlier, but there's only one of 2 ways to do that. The first way is to have a following elsewhere. The other is to have a lot of growth. You have to have a certain level of sustainable growth for them to go, okay, you can be let into the Fun Kids Club. For the purposes of this, 0. If you have nothing from the start, you are not going to be able to stream on TikTok. But in order for me to actually, have this be a review of the streaming service itself, and also for this to not be just tossed into the shorts bin, I'll give the review of the, streaming itself, assuming that you decide to go into it. I don't have a whole lot of positive to say about it, so we'll just give the facts of it. Firstly, you are just stuck with their first-party system until you reach another goal which is undetermined by TikTok totally. They don't actually, tell you. Used to, the moment you were in, you were just able to get your stream key and then use your OBS like everyone else. Now they force you to use their first-party system until a certain point, which is determined by the direction of the winds on a Tuesday afternoon, as well as which one of their cats decided to eat the mice in their basement that day. That's to say, good fucking luck. You might as well just use the first-party system, which comes with its own problems. First and foremost, it doesn't let you use anything aside from your webcam or your phone camera if you decided to download it for your phone. So for VTubers, it's getting docked a point. If you're a face streamer, you're perfectly fine. That's another reason why it's getting 2 separate scores. It's getting separate scores for people that are face and people that are not face, because it is getting docked points a lot for the VTuber and no face person. I'm going to be giving a little spoiler, it's not getting a terribly great score even by the end. However, it is going to be different based off of those. You have to have 3 to 5 streams, depending on what they gave you at the time, of 30 minutes or more with your webcam in order to get the artificial webcam. You're also going to have to chroma key. So if you've gotten used to using Spout as a VTuber, get fucked. They don't have Spout extensions. Their first-party system is archaic. Docked points for that. Again, for facecam streamers, you're perfectly fine. Congratulations. You are able to just do things as it goes. On to point 3. If you prefer landscape, it's TikTok. I don't know why you're over there if you want landscape. This is a vertical scrolling primary website. You are going to either be skipped over by people that can't see stuff, skipped over because they have a low attention span, or going to have to shunt all your stuff into a vertical assembly. I will give points in one regard for this, though. The vertical, due to it being its own thing, and you not being able to use a third-party system without some tweaks, congratulations, you don't have to figure it out on all your other stuff. But as I mentioned, attention span. This is still TikTok. Even if you are in the streaming segment, it is going to be, I hope that you have high energy 24/7, because at the end of the day, it's still TikTok, and a lot of the user base is still kids. So if they don't get the keys jingling in their face within 5 seconds of them coming in, you're just losing them. That's going to be a point against it for both sides. On the note of it being a lot of kids, I hope that you like either Dead Chat, which is fantastic because TikTok is constantly reminding you off to the side, hey, you better engage with your chat, otherwise we'll think that you're a fake. Hey, you better engage with your chat or we're going to think you're a fake. Hey, you better engage with your chat or we're going to assume you're a fake. It is a lot of kids. I am not even kidding. If you're surprised about that, I don't know how you even know TikTok exists. That being said, some of them are above the age that they can make an account, and they're about what you would expect. I have had 1 or 2 people that are alright over there. I suppose that gives us a segue into the only good point that I'll give it, which kind of relates to point A of why it's bad, because you have to have a following. On the bright side, you do actually have passive followers. It gets one of the points that YouTube got, because it shared followers between the streaming side and the short TikTok's side. Means that a lot of them are going to have the same attention span if you are doing mostly TikToks. But I guess that it gets a point for that. It's better than Twitch in that regard. You know, low bar to clear, I guess. That does get the downside from YouTube, though. So it gets like half a point for this because YouTube, the VODs turn into videos, assuming that you don't go over 12 hours. The third-party system, on another note, is really, really bad in the encoding system. It is the only program that I've used that has gotten massive stutter on multiple games. It, as far as I could tell, only uses its TikTok chat if you decide to do the dock for on-screen chat, which it advises because it's TikTok, so obviously they have to have the jingling keys of the kids seeing their name and being able to point at the screen and go, oh, that's me! But really shows even more if your chat isn't hyperactive, because it wants you to greet literally every person that joins. So your on-screen chat, if you're just starting out and don't have an established viewer base, is going to be a lot of blank has joined, 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 blank liked, blank has joined, blank has joined. Okay, well, I ran out of my ability to say joined before it starts screwing up in my head. But that's the point. That's what I'm getting at. It is going to be a lot of that. TikTok, I don't know why it wants you to greet every single person that joins. A lot of the cases, if they are just scrolling, they join and they are gone before you even have a chance to react to their name. It's why, despite TikTok constantly reminding me that I needed to greet every single person that joined, unless they gave a like or they talked in chat, I didn't. And again, in several cases, you're not even going to see those for the numbers that are showing up on the screen because they're too young to make accounts. The final score is, for VTubers and non-face people that just want to play their games, like a 1. The entire system is working against you, and the vertical system works against you if you want to play games that require you to have stuff actually on the screen. Literally any other site. The only reason it's not getting a 0 is because I'm only giving a 0 to specifically the people that cannot use it because they are trying to go in with the 0 following anywhere. For people that are doing face and gaming, like a 1.5, again, you're trying to do gaming and it takes way too much finagling to be worth it, in my opinion. I tried this for a month and a half or so. It's not worth, in my opinion. For people that are just face camming and doing, I don't know, NPC content or whatever the heck the meta is for that month, and just yapping at the screen and constantly jingling keys until your arm gets tired and then you immediately end stream, until that specific person, I'd still only give it a 3. There is no case where I'd give it a 5 or a 4. So here's the 3 scores on this side for what I'd label TikTok. I guess 4 scores, considering there is one particular instance where it gets a score that is passable. And here on this side's going to be the scores of everything else that I covered in the last video. Up there in the card will be a link to the previous video. I don't have a whole lot else to say about this. This video is not even 20 minutes long without editing, and the amount of rambling I did, I'll probably wind up editing it down even further. My final consensus, just don't. It is literally the worst. Especially because even compared to the other ones that require you to have a viewer base or follower base before you can get started, or have a wait time like YouTube, it has the highest requirements to do the streaming. That's my final consensus. thank you all so much for watching. If you have any streaming platforms that I might not know about, feel free to put them below. The RPlay one is going to be a little bit late for that one person that commented about RPlay last time. It is going to be a bit late. I took a bit of a break while working on a new model from doing any blue side streaming, so I only have 2 streams on there at all, so it's too early for me to give it an honest shot as far as what I'd say that it is worth. It is doing better than TikTok already, even after just 2 streams, so I'll give it that. Again, thank you all so much for watching. Like if you liked, subscribe to join the Eggplant Patch, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you all. Bye.